fairly recently, I talked about the idea that maybe we're kind of reaching a time where, you know what, it might be a good idea for us to get new characters. And the Bumblebee movie did give us 2 new characters. As a matter of fact, they gave us Dropkick and Shatter. And we did get Studio Series offerings for both of them. We've had 2 for Dropkick, and we've had 2 for Shatter, but the second one for Shatter was a long time coming. And the first one, that Studio Series 40 car, was dismal at best. I started to see reports as early as February of people getting Studio Series 59 Shatter, but alas, they didn't come here until now. And Studio Series 59 Shatter is going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. And hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors, NL, and the Autobot Family, Transformers versus G.I. Joe, versus DC Universe versus Marvel, and you can find me across social media everywhere. All those links are in the description below. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can always check out our Patreon. You can hit the join button and become a channel member right here on YouTube. You can see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course use the donate link. And this is Studio Series 59 Jet Shatter. I've been waiting a long time for her, and I'm just gonna say it. While this isn't exactly perfect, it is infinitely better than Studio Series 40. We're going to take a look at her. We're going to see the way she comes in a package, what we got to do to get her in her proper mode, and whether it's worth it. We're going to see her in comparison to her earlier iteration of herself, and we're going to see her next to her partner, Dropkick. Is this any good? Like I said, it's infinitely better than the first offering, but to be fair, it didn't have to be very good to be better than that. Let's head over to the table and take a closer look at it. And several months ago, in February, as a matter of fact, I began to see people the world over have this wave of Studio Series show up on their shelves, and I was excited, and then the world went sideways and it never showed up here. Not until now. Now. That's right. End of July, beginning of August. So February, what? March, April, May, June, July. Five months or so later? Nevertheless, this is the version of Shatter that I was waiting for, if for nothing else but the head, because it actually looks like Shatter. I'm going to talk more about that in a minute, but before we do that, you know what we're going to do first, that packaging. And it's packaging, man. Like, this looks like Shatter. This face looks like Shatter. On the back, we got the product images of the plane and the robot, of course. And as with all of these, we can open it up and we can slide out that whole display base thing if you are so inclined, and you can take Shatter and I guess you can stand her up there like that. We've got ourselves some instructions, and these ones are a bit of a toss-up. Like, they're not great, but they're also not terrible. Like, at least they give you an idea of what it is you're supposed to do. There's just one piece of transformation that I don't feel like the instructions make clear. Everything else, if you fiddle around with the pieces enough, I think you'll figure it out. What I do like is they have this section here to let you know, hey, she's not exactly transformed correctly at a package. Here's what you have to do to get her in her correct robot mode. And I do appreciate that, at least. Although, the argument could be made that the way she comes at a package has less of a backpack and might be less obtrusive in your display. We've got not one but two of these blaster things, and they fit in her hands just fine. And there they are like that. I guess it looks good. It'd be nice to have somewhere else to store them if you don't want them in her hands, but that's a premium. You might be able to stick them in the wings, but that would be flexing some plastic. It's you might do it, but it's not the most advisable thing in the world. Now this is the way she comes at a package, and yes, she still has like her tail fin things down on her feet, and she does have a backpack, but like comparative to what the backpack is supposed to be, this isn't so bad. And you'll see what I mean, because we will take her from this and put her in her, like, correct robot mode, I guess. In fact, we're gonna try and do it from right here because I think that this would kind of show you what it is that needs to go shown. So we have a piece right here. It needs to come out, and the nose cone needs to go up. And this piece will flip all the way back, kind of over the nose cone, and the wings will come back and tilt up and then rotate down. Tilt up and then rotate, actually, there, rotate down and rotate down, and then this kind of solidifies in there, and then the whole thing should basically come up on her back. Let me get this sorted away, get that down. Sort of like this. I guess you could angle these down like that if you're so inclined. Make sure her head stays up. Her head does like to go back into the body. And bring the hips kind of forward there. Moving her all around. And really, in the end, boom, this is basically the way her robot mode should be. And you can see, like, she has quite the backpack now, baby. Like, it's bigger even than what it was. And the whole point of doing this is so you can get the, like, turbines over her shoulders. Now, to be fair, these were on her shoulders in the film as well, but they seemed to be flattened out, however that occurred, so that you didn't have the huge backpack sticking off, but she did. I mean, she did have a little bit of a backpack with the turbines and the wings down the side. This is actually fairly accurate. Speaking of which, let's talk about those paint apps. It's not bad. I mean, it's really, really not bad. The head is the head that we wanted all along. The turbine's kind of behind her shoulders, just as it should be. On the shoulder itself, I think there's supposed to be like a black line detail going up that we don't have. Besides that, the torso and going down the body, the molded in detail and the coloring in the torso and whatnot is correct. When we get to the legs, there's a little more red on this than it is on the actual one. Like, there's a little bit of red on the thigh. That kind of separates the upper detailing and the lower detailing, like that red line right there. That shouldn't really be there. I think it's supposed to be silver. Down on her lower leg, there's supposed to be a red line going across, like, on her shin. And down on her feet, which are black, there's supposed to be a couple of little red accents, we'll say. But this is definitely what we were looking for Shatter. Way more than her other disastrous turd. This thing was awful. It was awful, awful, awful. One of the worst Transformers of any line that I've ever handled, with the arms popping off and the legs can't even move out to the side. The proportions are off. The head was completely wrong. You know, you can't angle the chest. Instead, you got this doofy little piece that comes up over that's supposed to mimic the way the chest looks. It fails. That thing there is going to go in vehicle mode, and it's going to stay in vehicle mode for the sake of having her triple changer car mode. But the robot and the jet will be my main representation of the character, hands down. As where the car version was a big failure, I'm going to say that when we talk about embodying the character, I think Jet Shatter Studio Series 59 is a solid 9.5. There she is with the other flyer, her partner Dropkick, in his flying mode, being the helicopter. I like this mold, but admittedly, this doesn't really embody Dropkick that well. There's way too much helicopter and not nearly enough car, and way too much gray in comparison to the blue. I think the ideal combination, at least for robot mode, is these two. Now, I looked at that trash Studio Series 40 Shatter back in episode 607. The plain Dropkick was 508, and the car Dropkick that we have here was episode 608. Funny enough, they were 100 apart. And I think that for at least robot mode, this is more, like, about as definitive as we're gonna get. Yes, Shatter's missing some car parts. Yeah, Dropkick is missing some helicopter parts, but this is definitely the closest robot. So if we have, say, a solid 9.5 for the look of the character and embodying the character, what about the articulation? Is it better than that trash Studio Series 40? Yeah. infinitely better. The head, it can go left and right, and it can kind of look back and up. Now it does like to push back into the body a little bit. That's the one thing. My neck joint is slightly loose, but it's still infinitely better. The shoulders go up and down. They can go, you know, assuming you get this stuff out of the way, it can go all the way around, out to the side. The bicep swivels, soft ratchet to 90 degrees on the elbow, nothing at the wrist. The waist, nothing at the waist. But that's because of transformation, so I guess I forgive it. Splits out to the sides pretty far, not perfect, but as far enough that as far enough as what I'm gonna need. Way super forward and way super back. We had that on the other one as well. We have now we don't have a thigh swivel, but we got an above the knee swivel, and then we have a knee to over 90 degrees, even with this kibbly junk on the back. The feet can tilt forward, but they can't go left or right. So is it perfect? No. Is it infinitely better than the other offering? Yeah, infinitely. You would think that with the huge backpack, that it would be super duper obtrusive, and it's not. Would a waist be nice? Yes, but I don't know how they could engineer it in. Maybe, this is a big maybe, they could have engineered in like an upper torso rotation, but considering the way the transformation goes, I don't know if that would have been possible, man. I really don't think it would. And besides that, I don't know, wrist, maybe? You know, ankle tilt, maybe, would be nice, I guess. Still, it's pretty good, and you can score some great poses, way better than that other junk. I'm gonna say it's a solid, for the character, I'm gonna say it's a solid 8. So far, we got an 8.5. This is a good Shatter, a much, much better Shatter. What about the transformation? Well, we're gonna take these out of that hand, and take this out of that hand, and we're going to kind of bring those forward, and we're going to come here to the back, and we're going to bring that nose cone down, and we're going to straighten all of that up, and we're going to put that head down, and we're going to straighten out, I guess, the body there, so that we have all this kind of angled forward. And with these out, we should now be able to, I believe, rotate the body. Oh, I have to untab the shoulders and bring them up and over. Untab the shoulders and bring it up and over. That's what's not clear in the instructions, is what you have to do there with those shoulders. Once you have that done, then you can rotate the entire torso around. Very, very important step to do. Not explained well in the instructions. You have a couple of hinges in here. Really what happens is the waist, and this is why there's no waist rotation, the waist kind of accordions out. Once you have that done, you can bring this up over, thusly, and you can really begin to bring this down, and this in here will line up. And you can sort of just leave that whole section. So we bring this down, sort of fold it in, and we straighten that up there. Okay, now we have the arms in here, and the arms will come down and they will turn so that you have these black sections on the back. And once you have that done, you can tab the arms together and kind of bring them down. Then you're going to take the legs and rotate them around and rotate them around, and you're going to bring the feet up and you're going to bring the feet up. Now what will happen is there's two little rectangular tabs right there. The tail fins will go over those, and then the tail fins will tab together. It's a little bit of a nuisance to do, but it's not that it's even a nuisance to do. It's a nuisance to do on camera. So we bring that in, and then we should be able to, that piece came out, bring those tail fins down like that, and we got that done. All of this now is put together. We come to the nose cone up here, and if we haven't already done it, just gotta remember which way this goes now. We bring down that landing gear. Now it's a matter of really doing the things with the wings. This whole section here kind of pushes in on the side. This back here has a little rectangular tab that tabs in back here, and a little rectangular tab on the back here that goes into a part here on the leg. Then finally, when all of that's done, we'll tab the two wings together. It's really a matter now of kind of pushing everything in. We push that in, and we got to line these back sections up. I'm going to do that instead of you watching me fiddle with that. There we go. All I do is push this whole section in, and then actually these tabbed in really easy. I expected them to be harder than that. Sometimes they tab in super easy. Sometimes they're a little bit of a nuisance. It's not hard, it's just a matter of lining it all up. And then last but not least, there's teeth and notches up here on the top that we should be able to fit together, and boom, in the end here we have Shatter in her jet mode. And boy, oh boy, does she make a good looking jet. I love the gunmetal gray. I like the red and black striping. It ties in with the robot, but it gives some detail to the plane. I love the engine intakes, I guess, there. There's even landing gear all along on her. And so here we have both vehicle modes. I can pretty much guarantee you that the car one ain't never going back in robot. It's not good. This is its best mode, leave it there. In terms of Jet Shatter, Studio Series 59, well, she had a 9.5 for her look. She had an 8 for her, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was an 8, maybe even 8.5 for her articulation. I'm going to say overall that she was split at somewhere around an 8.75, and then when we get to the transformation, honestly, the transformation isn't that hard. The only fiddly part is where I cut away there, where you have to tab those sections in the back. It went in super easy today. Some days it works easier than others to tab in there. It's just a matter of if you have everything lined up. Overall, it's a pretty intuitive, pretty smooth transformation once you've done it once or twice. I'm going to say it too is a solid 8. Honestly, overall, Jet Shatter is a solid 8.5. It's probably the go-to version of the character, at least for now. And here we are once again, and here she is, and see what I mean? She looks glorious, she embodies the character stupendously well. You can have her with this bigger backpack, you can put it down the way it was in package and have it smaller. The articulation is pretty fantastic for the most part. She even, I didn't really talk about it, but because of the transformation, while she doesn't have a waist, technically she does have an ab crunch. I didn't mention that, so that's really cool as well. I just wish that the head had a locking point when it comes up. Minor gripe. Great articulation, great look, and even in the transformation, like there's a lot of clever things done. Like for example, when you put the foot up, and I didn't mention it, I just did it. When you put the foot up, this whole section like shifts down, which is neat, but when you bring the foot back down, it automatically pushes that section back up. It's designed really well, and so as not to kind of break the sculpt of the thigh, the rotation is here just above the knee. It's clever. That's what it is. It's clever. She worked out so much better. The other one will stay in car mode, never to see the light of day as a robot again. Why? Because I think this one might be definitive, at least for now. Let me know what you think about Jet Shatter. I appreciate you guys coming by and giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know, man, how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, don't forget, you can check us out on Patreon. You can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. You can use the donate link, or you can see what we offer to you through Teespring. Hit the subscribe button. Stick around, have some fun with us. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, man, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way, baby, right here inside the videos.